The afternoon sun slanted through the living room window, painting a warm rectangle of light on the oak floor where Bailey, a golden retriever the color of wheat, lay sighing. His human, Ben, was clacking away on his laptop at the dining table, oblivious to the profound boredom of his best friend. Across the room, on the plush corduroy couch, lounged Daisy, a pristinely groomed Bichon Frise with fur like a powdered cloud. Her human, Sarah, was scrolling through her phone, occasionally murmuring, "Who's a pretty girl?" "You are." "Yes you are." Bailey cast a sidelong glance at Daisy. She was fine, he supposed. Smelled like flowers and baby powder. A little high-strung. She'd been coming over for these work dates with Sarah for months now, and their routine was as fixed as the pattern on the rug. They'd ignore each other, except for the occasional polite, disinterested sniff when forced into proximity by their humans. It was a Tuesday when the universe shifted. Ben, in a fit of productivity-induced generosity, had bought a new treat. Not just any treat. They were artisanal, free-range, duck and sweet potato croquettes from a boutique pet bakery. The moment Ben ripped open the bag, a scent of such profound, savory majesty filled the air that both dogs sat up as if electrocuted. Bailey was at Ben's side in an instant, a masterpiece of hopeful drool and whining. Daisy, forgetting all decorum, launched herself from the couch with a surprising burst of speed, her little nails clicking frantically on the floor. They both sat, quivering, before Ben. Okay, one each." Ben laughed. He handed a croquette to Bailey, who inhaled it with a single, unceremonious gulp. It was glorious, life-altering. Then Ben turned and gave one to Daisy. Daisy, however, did not eat it. She took the delicate, brown morsel in her mouth, cast a look at the slobbering golden retriever, and trotted into the center of the sunlit patch on the floor. She placed the treat down carefully, looked at Bailey, and then deliberately nudged it with her nose toward him. Bailey froze. His world, previously defined by squirrels, sticks, and the sacred sanctity of the dinner bowl, tilted on its axis. This was not in the code. You did not give away the duck and sweet potato croquette. You guarded it. You savored it. You certainly didn't offer it to a large, oafish acquaintance who had just consumed his own without even tasting it. He padded over, confused. He sniffed the treat, then sniffed Daisy. The baby powder scent was still there, but underneath it was something new, a note of incredible, selfless generosity. He looked into her dark, liquid eyes and saw not the prissy little diva, but a revolutionary, a philanthropist of snacks. Gently, he picked up the croquette, chewed it slowly this time, letting the flavors explode on his tongue. Then, in a gesture that felt instinctive and right, he lowered his big head and gave Daisy's ear a soft, tender lick. A shudder ran through Daisy. No one had ever thanked her like that. Her world was one of bows, perfumes, and being carried in tote bags. It was lovely, but it wasn't this rough, genuine, slobbery affection. It felt real. It felt like the stories her ancestors told of running through fields, not sitting on satin pillows. Thus began the great infidelity. It started subtly. During the next work date, while Ben and Sarah were engrossed in a spreadsheet, Bailey quietly dragged his favorite, most slobber-encrusted rope toy over and dropped it at Daisy's feet. Daisy, in turn, would wait for Sarah to put down her chic, mini water bowl, and then she'd deliberately tip it over, sliding it across the floor so Bailey could have a drink too. Their humans just thought they were being messy. Their affection grew in the stolen moments. A shared, conspiratorial look when Ben and Sarah laughed at something on the screen. Daisy daring to play beau, inciting Bailey to a gentle, careful game of chase around the furniture that ended with them both panting happily, noses almost touching. They developed a secret language. A soft woof from Bailey meant, "He's getting the leash." A particular head tilt from Daisy meant, "She's opening the cheese drawer." The true turning point came on a rainy afternoon. Sarah was out, and Ben had a last-minute meeting. "Be good, buddy," Ben said, ruffling Bailey's fur before heading out. Daisy, who had been dropped off earlier, was left with him. The house was quiet, save for the patter of rain. For the first time, they were truly alone. Bailey led Daisy to the bay window, his special place for watching the world. He showed her how to rest her chin on the sill, the perfect vantage point for judging passing mail carriers. Daisy showed him the art of the perfect, cozy curl-up. They shared a silent vigil, their bodies pressed together for warmth and comfort, a single, contented sigh passing between them. It was, in its simple, canine way, a moment of profound intimacy. This was no longer a snack-based flirtation. This was love. But every paradise has its serpent. In this story, The serpent was a neutered French bulldog named Pierre who lived next door to Sarah. Pierre was Daisy's official beau, a arrangement tacitly approved by their humans who thought they looked cute together during neighborhood walks. Daisy had never minded Pierre. He was fine. He smelled like corn chips and had a funny snore. But he wasn't Bailey. He didn't share his treasures. He didn't make her feel wild and seen. The crisis erupted on a sunny Saturday at the local dog park. It was a chaotic, happy scene. Ben and Sarah had brought both dogs, letting them off leash to socialize. Bailey was in his element, romping with a pack of labs, but his heart was always with Daisy, who was prancing delicately near the small dog section with Sarah. That's when Pierre arrived with his human. Daisy, look, it's your friend, Sarah cooed, leading a reluctant Daisy toward the snorting, waddling Frenchie. Pierre, overjoyed, began his usual routine of obsessive sniffing. Bailey, from across the park, saw it all. A low growl rumbled in his chest, a sound so foreign and deep it startled the lab he was playing with. He stopped dead, his entire being focused on the scene. He saw Daisy's polite but stiff posture, the way she turned her head away from Pierre. Acting on a primal impulse he didn't understand but could not resist, Bailey broke into a full gallop. He was a golden blur, parting the canine crowd like a furry Moses. He didn't stop until he was squarely between Daisy and Pierre. He didn't snap or bark. He simply stood, broad and solid, his body a shield, his gaze fixed on the confused Pierre with a quiet, unwavering intensity that said, "Mine." The park fell silent for a beat. Sarah blushed. Ben was stunned. Bailey, bad dog, come here, Ben called, mortified. But Daisy, in that moment, made her choice. She didn't go to Sarah. She didn't acknowledge Pierre. She pressed her small, fluffy body against Bailey's leg, a clear and defiant statement of allegiance. The ride home was icy. Sarah was embarrassed. Ben was confused and apologetic. I don't know what got into him, Sarah. He's never aggressive. Back at Ben's house, the humans tried to resume normalcy, but the tension was thick. They decided to order pizza, a feeble attempt to reset the day. As they sat at the table, trying to chat over the awkwardness, they failed to notice the quiet drama unfolding on the living room floor. Bailey, heart still pounding from the park, went to his secret stash behind the armchair and pulled out his most prized possession, a ragged, stuffing-less teddy bear he'd had since he was a puppy. It was his comfort object, his sacred relic. He carried it with immense tenderness over to Daisy, who was lying dejectedly by the couch. He placed it before her, then lay down, his head on his paws, offering her everything. Daisy, touched beyond measure, nuzzled the bear. Then she had an idea. She trotted over to Sarah's tote bag, rummaged with her nose, and emerged triumphantly with something clutched in her teeth. It was her absolute favorite thing in the world, a delicate, silk ribbon she loved to chase and cuddle. She brought it to Bailey and dropped it on top of the teddy bear, a symbol of their joined lives. It was this scene that Sarah happened to glance over and see. Two dogs, from different worlds, lying nose to nose, sharing their most precious treasures in a pool of evening light. The teddy bear and the silk ribbon, side by side. The look in their eyes wasn't one of guilt or mischief, but of pure, unwavering devotion. It was a look she realized with a jolt she'd been searching for in her own dating life, a connection that was quiet, selfless, and utterly real. Ben, she whispered, her voice choked. Look. Ben turned, and he saw it too. Not just the dogs, but the whole story written in their posture, in the sacred space between them. He saw the infidelity, not to humans, but to the roles they'd been assigned. The spoiled princess and the goofy retriever were gone. In their place were two souls who had, against all odds, found each other. A slow smile spread across Ben's face, then Sarah's. The awkwardness melted away, replaced by a dawning awe. You know, Ben said softly, I think they are in love. Sarah nodded, a tear tracing down her cheek. And I think they've been trying to tell us for months. From that day, everything changed. The work dates continued, but now Ben and Sarah watched with the rapt attention of anthropologists discovering a new civilization. They saw the secret leaks, the shared looks, the gentle care. They stopped trying to force Daisy and Pierre together. They even started planning joint outings, hikes where Bailey could run and Daisy could be carried in a backpack, weekend trips to dog-friendly cabins. The love of the two dogs did more than just bring them together. It taught their humans a lesson about authenticity. Inspired by the pure, uncomplicated devotion they witnessed daily, Ben found the courage to ask Sarah on a proper date. A year later, in the same living room where it all began, he proposed. And sitting right beside them, wearing matching satin bows, which Bailey tolerated and Daisy adored, were their best dog and maid of honor. The wedding was in a sun-drenched field. As Ben and Sarah exchanged vows, Bailey and Daisy sat tied with floral leashes, their focus entirely on each other. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," and Ben dipped Sarah, Bailey took the opportunity to give Daisy a big, sloppy kiss right on her nose. The guests all laughed, thinking it was a charming coincidence. But Ben and Sarah knew the truth. They were just following the example set by the two masters of love who had, in the most unexpected way, shown them the meaning of true loyalty. Brave choice.